Hey everybody, I am on for the midweek message reveal, Wednesday, June 18th. Thank you for being here with me today. Just wanted to tap a little bit into the energy. There's a real intensity that's coming through that's really pulling at the heartstrings. I feel a lot of tension actually in my chest, and that energy is coming through to cleanse and strip away. And while we do have lots of astrological transits that are occurring right now. Perhaps the most important one that you are feeling the most is Jupiter square Neptune. Now, Jupiter, this transit dissolves what isn't real. It has an opportunity to literally pull out those pieces that seem stuck or corroded, the things that just kind of keep coming back, almost like I'm hearing like spiritual heartburn or acid reflux. I know that sounds, for some of you, this is pretty spot on with what you've been experiencing, difficulties and a feeling of heaviness in the chest. And what this will do, Venus squaring Neptune, will also put relationships into perspective. And that's not just romantic ones, it's professional ones, your working relationships, your coworkers, how you work with your community and how you communicate with them, and how things that you may have believed and perceived to be true are actually you're finding out that they are being stripped away. And there's a realization that also almost can come as a shock and feels very deep in a sense of its resonance. It's truly something that is coming through to settle the score, to right the wrong, to do some sort of balance. And we don't understand what the counterweight is. And that is not for us to know at the moment. That lack of information brings about a feeling of cautiousness and a desire to find that balance. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, where Neptune takes away the extra bullshit that's around what we've created, whether we have tied ourselves to someone's potential and their ability to do something for us that they said they were going to do, or become something that they said they were going to do, or we saw within them a ability for them to rise up to the occasion and we no longer are seeing that happening, or we haven't seen proof of what we believed was actually occurring all along, and there are receipts, and people are taking those receipts. Understand that Neptune strips away the false beliefs. That doesn't mean that there is an emotion that's connected to that too, because when you are disillusioned and come to an understanding and use your discernment and your clarity, you start to realize that, hey, wait a minute, this is totally different than what I expected, and there's a lot of feelings I have around this about either being told something different, led astray, led to believe, or not divulged information upon. So all of this is coming up. It's dissolving what is not real. So be aware of that and observe, because there isn't much that can happen in this space until we start to move forward with the solstice on Saturday. We're kind of in a funky holding pattern where you have to just kind of sit in it. But that's the work. The work is feeling how you feel. And a lot of us are not feeling very great. And that's okay too. Because there is always a desire to reach a different level of experience. And you have to know the opposite in order to want to build again. This is not to say that you have the ability to build again yet, or the energy, or the jelly beans, or the spoons, or whatever you want to call it. But you do have a voice. And Mars has moved into Virgo. So we are not just talking about talking at this point. We've organized it. We've figured it out. We've figured out a way in which we want to be communicated with, and we want to say something about it. So if you're feeling that urge as well, here it is. Here's Mars in Virgo to kind of push things forward a little bit. You don't like how this has expanded. You don't like how this has taken away what you believed is happening. You don't like any of that, but you've got something to say about it. Where are you putting those words? Where do they come from? When do we get to hear them? When do you get to hear them? That's the big question. Okay, so I only allowed 2 this week to be selected because there's a very clear channel that's kind of coming through and has been very much so this morning, where there is 2 camps. Neither one is right or wrong. It doesn't work that way. It's just more about where you want to be grouped as far as having a message come through that's more succinct for you. And we'll get into that. Okay, so I'm going to start with 1. If you chose 1. Connecting with your energy, 1. I'm shown a path, and this path is wooded. It starts very open, and then there's almost like a flush of trees that kind of create a canopy, and you're able to walk through. And as you're walking through, you are experiencing more and more of your own presence. The way to explain this is almost going from feeling very exposed to feeling very insular, inward, feeling very much of your wanting to be on your own or with yourself, or needing to have time separate from external influences is the word. No longer being influenced. So it's not that the influences outside are necessarily bad, it's just that you're noticing that you are being influenced by the way those things are behaving. Here comes the rain. Ooh la la. This realization causes you to feel almost I'm seeing like a cloak that you're kind of wrapping yourself in. And this cloak is kind of red. And this red color is tied to the root chakra. The root chakra being where we feel our sense of security and safety, where we feel that we can start base level. Do you have your shelter needs met? Do you have your food needs met? Do you have someone's, making sure that you have a jacket to wear? This is kind of where your energy is kind of stuck in sort of a survival mode for the moment. Now, this isn't an always thing. This is kind of a licking of your wounds. There's been a lot of information that has been coming at you. There's been a lot of dissolving of what isn't real and an understanding of what is actually happening. And this sort of feeling of cognitive dissonance is not necessarily just yours here in one. This is on a global scale. We have many of us are experiencing different varying degrees of this, and through this change is another layer that connects you to a different set of boundaries that you haven't really had access to. Now, tying things back to Mars and Virgo and the concept of speaking up, like I mentioned earlier here in the intro, this is really going to be paramount for you guys in one, because your need to reaffirm with yourself, your inner authority, your inner you, your little self, is to get them to understand that they are safe, and they are safe with you, and you are safe with yourself, and that there is a sense of independence and integrity and ability to lean on yourself, within yourself, to have your will be known and your ability to stand your ground enforced and supported. You may not feel like you have people who are willing to listen to those things that are going on with you, but there are people who are interested in that. And you do have more people with a listening ear than you realize. Lean into those conversations when you feel the urge. There's a tug, there's almost, you almost get I get the feeling. So I get a feeling of something coming over me as I'm having a mock conversation with someone. And there's an opening. I can see where I could actually interject something that's a little bit vulnerable, that's a little bit about me, that's a little bit about how I'm feeling, or what I'm experiencing, or my take on something that other person has said. And it does expose me a little bit. This is where you're going to wrestle a little bit with feeling closed and open. Group one, very much closed and protecting of themselves and what they hold sacred and quiet within themselves. And this is something that's bubbling and wanting to come out. I actually feel like a bubbling in my chest, like a swizzle in the throat. I can't really explain it. But that feeling makes me want to express, makes me want to exhale. And that feeling of pressure is wanting to be let go of. So if you are feeling this as well, one, there are lots of ways that you can do this, but a gentle way is to speak with yourself in a mirror. If you feel that you can talk and look and gaze into your own face. If that's too intense, you can simply speak to yourself or leave a voice note, something that's wonderful to do on your phone, where you can hear yourself say the things that you want to say. Maybe listen privately with headphones quietly to yourself. Let yourself hear your voice and the things that you want. You're allowed to speak those things out, and you're allowed to hear them too. And hearing them in your own voice is truly next level. It opens things. So for those of you who haven't tried, I suggest you do. Journaling is also always great. Chanting and getting that vocal cord vibration happening is awesome. If you need help with this, this is something I love to do and help create with clients, and also help them move forward and address the things that they're wanting to grow with, grow from, grow into. All right, so moving on to 2, if you chose 2. This is your guy. Connecting with your energy too, it's very much the opposite of what's going on with 1. That's not to say that 1 is better or not. There is no judgment here. 2 is in a space of alert, is in a space of expelling verbally, also in a physical way. There could be things that are kicking off within the body, feeling a sense of inflammation, some joint stuff coming up, some sinusy stuff coming up. Again, I am not a medical doctor. This is all energetic. If you have any issues with yourself, please seek medical attention as you would as a grown person. Energetically, there is a desire for this essence of yourself to be recognized, to be seen, heard, to be taken seriously, to be validated. And while that energy is definitely right, definitely important, definitely something that is needed and should be heard and should be shared. The difficulty here with 2 is that you're kind of stuck on your volume being on high, where everything seems very intense. Everything that's coming out seems to have a tone. Everything that's coming out seems to have a spike around it. Whether that is just simply audible sighs, feelings of just a lot of heavy breathing in a, like, it's something that we do when we're stressed. There's a lot of that that's going on. There could be even like a desire to kind of get into some like oral fixation type stuff. So lots of gum chewing, nail biting, chewing on things, wanting to put stuff in your mouth. I know that sounds really weird, but when we're trying to work stuff out, we work stuff out with our bodies. We work stuff out in different ways. We work stuff out like you would if you were like a little hamster who just got, like a fresh toilet paper roll. You'd be chewing that stuff to kind of get through the day. So I understand where that's coming from, but the message is to watch yourself when you're leaning into the things that you are compulsing on or leaning into or escaping into. Now, that's not to say that it isn't something that can help at times with moderation, but it's difficult when your volume's stuck up on blast to be able to give yourself something in moderation there. So seek out other things in order to make yourself feel a little bit more contained, because there is this vibe of almost, I see just like wide open window and I see a storm whipping through, and you can't protect what's inside when your doors are wide open. So this is an opportunity for you to also protect your energy. Pay attention to what it is that you're saying and who's saying it and who's hearing it. And you're also going to want to make sure that you are expressing yourself in a way that is appropriate to the conversations that you're having, and not necessarily having conversations that are escalating, or I don't want to say inflammatory. That's not the right word. Like something that causes a disruption, or things that are almost designed to have a charge with them. Whether or not you realize it, you kind of are bringing forth this energy of, let's deal with it, let's talk about it, let's get it out there, because the energy wants to be spoken of, the situation wants to be talked about, and you want to be the one to say it. This is where Mars in Virgo is going to perhaps push you to say things that you are maybe not ready to cash checks with. Okay, so be aware of what it is that you're saying. Understand that it's connected to emotion, and that some of this emotion needs to be felt first before it's able to be processed. And you'll know what to do with it when the time is right. But the time right now is just to monitor what it is that you're dealing with, and understand that how you're expressing, it's not wrong. It just leaves some gaps where you may need to fill them in order to keep yourself 100%, right? So those are the messages this week. Would love to hear how they land for you. So please leave me some feedback. Would love to hear, would love to hear, but I would also love to work with you. So please feel free to reach out at my website. You can send me messages. There's all kinds of stuff. You can chat with me on there. You can hit me up on DM, EM, the original emails, whatever you want to do. Just reach out, dude. I'm here for you. So just know I walk with you through this. I think about you guys all the time, and I appreciate you showing up, and I appreciate you being there for one another, because that's what we really need. Okay? Love you guys. Peace.